Unit 1.1 multiple choice solutions. All right, which of the following functions has a domain of x greater than 0? So x greater than 0, that would make it all the positive numbers, right? So this is really asking, where can x not be negative? Okay, well, this is fine. X can be negative if it's squared, right? It just turns into a positive, but we don't really care what it turns into. We just care that we're allowed to do it. X can't be negative here, right? Because you can't take the square root of a negative number without creating imaginary numbers. Okay. But notice this says x greater than 0. X greater than 0. Can you take the square root of 0? Yeah, it's 0. So this is probably not our answer, but I'm going to leave it open for right now. All right, log x. So remember, if you have log of b equals c, right? We're just going to use log base 10. So this is 10 to the c equals b. It doesn't matter what you make c, b will never be negative. If c is negative, then b is just really small. It's a decimal, but it's still positive. It's not negative. Okay, so this definitely can't be negative. Can it be 0? Well, again, even if c was 0, b would be 1, so it also can't be 0. So this can't be, x can't be negative, and x can't be 0. And then e, I can put whatever I want in the exponent, right? So that doesn't matter, that's fine. So it's either b or c. Now, if I read this very carefully, it says x greater than 0. That means x can be 0, right? So the function I'm looking for, x cannot be 0. So this would be the correct answer. It's a tricky one. They're going to want you to write b, but it's actually c because it doesn't include 0. Which of the following are functions? So functions are one-to-one relationships, right? 1x, 1y. So what we really want to look at is the powers, all right? If I'm just flying all over the place. If I look here, I could rewrite this and get y equals 17 plus 3x. That's fine. That's a linear function. Totally a function. If I rewrite this guy, I get y equals negative x squared plus 4. Sure, that's just a quadratic function. These two, if I rewrite this, well, first of all, this is the equation of a circle, and we know a circle is not a function. So that's like thing one that you should notice. But even if we didn't notice that, this is y squared equals negative x squared plus 64. And if I took the square root of both sides, I would have to have a plus and a minus, right? Which would then mean that I have two functions, not one function. And it would fail the vertical line test. So, since these y's are squared, they are not functions. So 2 and 3 are not functions, which makes, I should probably read the question, which makes 1 and 4 functions. Find the average rate of change of f of x, 3x squared minus 2 from x equals 2 to x equals 6. So the first thing we have to do is find f of 2, 3 times 2 squared minus 2, 3 times 4 minus 2, 12 minus 2 is 10, and f of 6, which is 3, oh, that is a 2, not a 6, squared minus 2 is 3 times 36 minus 2. 3 times 36 is probably 108, but do I know off the top of my head? Yes, I do. It is 108. 108 minus 2 equals 106. So, to find the average rate of change, I'm going to do f of 6 minus f of 2 over 6 minus 2. F of 6 is 106 minus f of 2, which is 10, divided by 4. And so I get 96 over 4, which is, well, 100 over 4 is 25, so this must be 24. And we can double check because we have a calculator. Boom. We're right. 24. 24. Which of the following linear functions is increasing? Is increasing. So that means going up from left to right. This has a negative slope, so that's a negative slope. This has no slope, which means it's constant, so neither increasing or decreasing. That's a negative slope, and that is small, but it is a positive slope. So the only function that would be increasing would be d, because it's a positive slope. If a represents the 0 of the function, that guy, evaluate g of a if g of t equals 10 minus, okay. There's a lot of letters here. A represents the 0 of the function. Okay, well, we know the 0 of this function is going to be 3, right? So 0 equals x minus 3 squared. X is equal to 3, and that is a bounce. So there's actually 2 3's there. All right, so we know a is 3. Evaluate g of 3, right? G of a, which we now know is 3, if g of t, I think that this must be a typo. I think that this should say a, because we can't just introduce a new t. So g of 3 would equal 10 minus 2, 3 minus 1 to the third. So this would be 10 minus 2 times 2 to the third. 10 minus 2 times 8, 10 minus 16 is negative 6. Is that a choice? Huzzah, it is a choice. As a pot of boiling water cools, the temperature of the water is recorded and placed in the table below, where the T is time measured in minutes and temperature F of T is measured in degrees Fahrenheit. Using the data in the table, which of the following best approximates the rate at which the temperature of water is changing at time 3.5? All right, well, 3.5 is going to be right between 5 and 2. So I'm going to do 125.6 minus 140 over 5 minus 2. And you know what? We're using a calculator. Why not? So I'll show you how I would put that in the calculator. So I would do a parenthesis. What is it? 125.6 minus 140 parenthesis divided by parenthesis 5 minus 2, close your parenthesis, enter negative 4.8. And there it is, B. All right, given the table of values, which of the following best describes the behavior of the graph of the function on the interval between 1 and 6? Okay, so increasing, decreasing, concave up, concave down. Let's think about this. So we're going from 1 to 6. Okay, so that's the whole table, right? So here's 1, here's 6. We're going the whole thing. Is it increasing or decreasing? Well, it's definitely going down, so it's decreasing. So these two are out. And then is it concave up or concave down? Well, let's think about this. So 111 would be there, 2, 6. And we're going down this way, right?